Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Unplugged Nation Podcast. Today, we have our good friend Nick from Positive Mental Attitude and also the Reason the Rhyme podcast on Spotify. He has been on the channel before. He is the man, the myth, the legend himself. We'll bring him up. And there you go. Welcome, Nick. How are you?
Hello, Daniel. How everyone?
Man, well, I'm glad you took the time out to come on the podcast, man. It's
Never a problem at all.
always good to just shoot the shit or blow rounds at the breeze, you
Yep.
know. However the expression is. But, it's this is our for those that are listening or watching, this is going to be like a video thing. It's the second time we're on the podcast.
Yep.
So it was everyone is interested, and I just wanted to do a follow-up, just
Yeah.
to have you on, just to shoot the shit. We always talk in the Bruin banters, and I always I'll call you with a bunch of questions I have. You are the podcast man. And I'm
Thank you.
just dipping my toes in this. And everyone that is listening, Nick's audio is glorious. It sounds like you're in my ears. So, yeah, I got to get on that level. But
I might
um,
not say anything interesting, but at least it sounds good.
yes, but you know what? That's half the thing. Half the
Yeah.
thing. That's half the battle. But based on our last conversation, how have things been going? How has your journey gone
It's
so
been pretty
far?
good, to be honest. I think it was 12 weeks where I had no physio. I was on a waiting list, so I felt like I plateaued slightly. But I've been back
Wow.
with them for 3 or 4 weeks, and they're pushing me hard, and I can really feel the benefit of it now.
Now, right after your first day of physio, that knocks you out, right? That's I
Yeah,
assume, especially for being on the bench for so long. I bet that's something that it's kind of it's like a gym workout, right?
pretty much, yeah. And considering that I haven't really got much strength in a lot of my body, those get fatigued very, very quickly, and the rest of you is playing catch up, so they get fatigued as well.
Yeah. Now, for those of you that don't know, Nick is on the process in the on the journey to recovery, documenting his recovery, correct?
Yeah,
From your stroke that you suffered,
yeah,
you know. And I love that every you're getting so much better. And you are seeing the rewards of the physio of pushing yourself harder,
yeah, definitely.
right?
I've said before on my YouTube channel, and also I think last time we spoke, it's one of those situations where nobody's going to do it for you. You have to do it, and if you sit there and feel sorry for yourself, you're never going to move again. So you have to get up, even on horrible days. If it's raining outside, you don't want to go for a walk. You have to do it. Got to push yourself through.
Yeah. Uh, what is the thing that drives you? What is that fire in your soul that gets you to get up on those rain days? What is that motivator that kicks you in the ass?
That it's everything for me. It's things like I want to drive again, which I'm in the process of trying to get that sorted out.
No.
I need to go and have an assessment. I want to be able to play on the PlayStation. I want to be able to pick my guitar up and play. My daughter's learning at the moment; she's 17, and it'd be nice to be able to show her some stuff on the guitar, which I'm not able to. I think football is beyond me now, but you never know. I might be able to have a game of that occasionally. And I want to get back to being normal. It's a horrible word to use when I've just had a stroke. Normal. What is normal?
Yeah.
But being able to, if I want something, get up, go out in the car and get it
Yeah.
without having to rely on someone else to do it for me. So it's that independence, I guess.
Yeah. No, that's tough. It's especially it's kind of shocking that you mentioned that you were on a waiting list for so long, especially
Yeah.
when your physio um is so important. It's like
Yeah.
it I mean, you did it's not like you were what is it? Just what is that word? Like when you're not doing nothing. You were still doing
Right.
stuff.
Yeah, they give me a list of things to do at home, so I was doing that, but it's not the same. The
No,
quality of exercise they get you to do, the physios, they can tell if it's working or not and when to push it and when not to push it. So I
got it.
really did feel like I benefited. As soon as I went back the first week, I could feel the quality of the work we were doing was 100 times better. But with the waiting list, that was 12 weeks of physiotherapy. I also need occupational therapy, which is more brain and sort of muscle related,
Wow.
retraining the brain how to use things. I'm still on the
Yeah.
waiting list for that. So that's been 16 weeks now.
Wow.
Yeah, it's the state of the health service over here, unfortunately. Lots of people are ill and not enough doctors and nurses to take care of them.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's something that you don't really notice until like you're in need of it.
Yeah,
It's like easy to put off and easy to regurgitate what's been taught to you like, oh, this is our health service until you're actually like in need, in the waiting list, on the waiting list. But like you said 16 weeks,
yeah.
man, that's a
And that's
lifetime.
And that's the kind of thing when the nurses are going on strike over here at the moment because they're getting paid less than they would do if they were working in Starbucks or something.
Hmm.
Um, and you've got people saying, "Oh, they're rubbish. They should be back at work. They get paid enough." Well, you don't spend 2 months in a hospital and then come back and tell me they get paid enough because they don't. The amount of work they do, they work extra hours without getting paid anyway. Um, during the real bad part of the crisis with COVID and lockdown, they were working in bin bags, trash sacks
Yeah.
because they had no PPE,
Yep.
putting themselves at risk every day. So just to give them a normal everyday salary, is that too much to ask? They really
I,
go above and beyond, so I think they should be paid anything they really need.
yeah, no, it's kind of, I would say it's similar over here, but I think the compensation for nurses over here is, well, I know it depends on the institution they work for, like because
Yeah,
hospitals here are privatized, so but usually it's a very competitive wage, but still, for what they have to deal with, I mean, it people lose sight of, they put like this mental thing on like a salary. Like let's say you
yeah,
make this. Well, that was good. That's a good salary. Well, maybe it was 20 years ago. You know,
yeah,
things have all gone up. Salaries have sort of stayed the same. And uh, I feel like a salary is not good unless the cost of living where you are is relatively low.
yeah. So that's what it is. Your salary, it should be not necessarily linked to the cost of living, but people should look at that. This
Yeah.
seemed like a lot of money 10 years ago. Well, what you were paying in rent, gas, electricity, petrol for your car, that was also a lot less back then.
Yeah.
So it is relative. And
It
if you speak to Kev, will say the same thing because he works in the health service. I'm a civil servant. So when we had the financial crash of 2008, we had a 10-year pay freeze to pay that back. We didn't
wow.
cause it. The bankers who were gambling with other people's money caused it. They're still getting $1 million, £1 million bonuses every year. We got a 10-year pay freeze. I don't
Yeah.
think that's particularly fair. But
Hell no,
no,
man. Hell no. Hell no. It's I'm we're on two different sides of the pond. All
yeah,
right. But I'm not a fan. I feel like there are things that should fail, that should be allowed to fail. Like some of these banks over here around 2008, they
yeah,
should have gone bankrupt. The fact that our government reached in and saved them, I'm like, oh, that's not good. Like there's a capitalism bone in me that's like, you work hard, you do things right, you succeed.
yeah.
But when you're kind of caught with your pants down with, like you said, gambling with other people's money, like, yeah, you kind of get what you deserve. Now, things heads should roll.
Yeah, if you truly believe in capitalism and you think it's the greatest system on earth, like a lot of countries do, then banks should be allowed to fail because that's
Yep.
what the markets dictate. If you go and bail them out, that's socialism.
Yep.
So only the rich are getting the benefits of socialism when the poor who deserve it are not.
Yeah.
So either go for it as a socialist system or not. But
Yeah.
live and die by your decisions. Banks, if you fail, tough, you fail. Go and explain that to the shareholders.
Yeah. And also, it's not like that's the only bank.
Yeah,
It. if especially around here, we have tens of thousands of banks, community banks and national banks, and if a community bank is going to fail, there's going to be 10 more that pop up in its place. So that's that. I mean, I know we try to keep things light around here, but we got on here. Now we're going down the rabbit hole. But no,
Yeah,
it all ties in. It all ties into everything is boils onto economics, like what the nurses are paid,
yeah,
because that speeds up the systems that you are having to pay for. I mean, pay as in not monetarily, but you're waiting 16 weeks,
yeah.
which is a lifetime in recovery.
It
Like
is.
it,
That the amount of
yeah,
work I could have done in that 16 weeks, I could have been so much further. But again, I don't get frustrated by it because I
yep,
understand that's the situation. I can't change it.
yep,
I can only do what I can do. And then when they eventually do come round to me, I will give it 100%, like I
yep,
know they will do.
yep,
So,
yep.
just that's just life, isn't it? Really?
It really is, man. Sometimes people I see things sometimes being on, we're creators of content for
Yeah,
YouTube, and our stuff's out there for the masses. And sometimes there are people out there that are just super quick to jump on their own like bandwagon and stuff, and they don't understand, like, they're not main characters. None of us are main characters.
yeah,
Like we the power isn't in my hands to change anything, or your hands to change anything. It's just, I feel like it's a really tough situation to be in. Um Knowing what needs to change, and just
yeah,
knowing that you're like, all right, well, I just have to play the game. I just have to play this game, even though it's a shitty game that we play. Like, just
yeah,
part as a pawn. You're pawn. That's what it feels like.
yeah. And you just got to get on with it and make the best that you
Yeah.
possibly can,
Yep.
and
Because
don't moan about
complaining,
it.
yeah, because complaining doesn't work. It
Yeah,
doesn't work. You know, Moaning and bitching, and it brings your mental health down.
yeah,
And right
definitely.
now, positive vibes breed positivity. I feel like my life, I see I see people out there that take things as very negative, um, and their life tends to be darker.
Yeah, definitely.
Whereas the positive people, like the optimistic people, not the crazy optimistic. I don't trust them. They're wild. But like
Yeah,
the people that are so optimistic, they're like, oh, shit doesn't happen ever. It's all rainbows. Like, no, no. But there's two different ways to handle something. Like, and that's why I'm so drawn into your story. It's like you took this life-changing thing that happened to you, and you're using it, and your mentality around it is just positivity.
yeah. It has to be, I think, and I, I do think that it's changed me. I don't know if something happened in the brain. Obviously, I had a hemorrhage, so something did happen. Don't know what the effects are long term, but something I think just flicked in me slightly. Where, like you say, I don't need to be stupidly positive. You have to be realistic,
Yeah.
be grounded, but don't see the negative in everything. Just try and see if there's a positive angle, and if there is, use that as your a bit of your motivated energy.
Yeah.
So if you don't and you are miserable about things, nothing will ever get better. I use one of the examples that I use, or analogies. It's people going ice skating. If you think before you get on the ice, I'm going to fall over, you will fall over. It's as simple as that. If you don't, and you just go for it, you might still fall over, but you might not. You won't know till you have a go.
Yeah.
So at least with the stroke, what's the worst that could happen? I could have died at the time. I didn't. So let's see where I go. I've been given a second chance.
Yep.
Be as positive as I can, but as realistic as I can as well at the same time.
Yeah. It's one of those things that very few people get a second chance at
Yeah,
things, and you were making the most of the second chance. And that's why it's like, I wish your story was more known. I wish people got behind it more, and shared it more. But as we know, on this platform that we share, on these platforms that we share, positivity, it's, even though it is a light in a dark room, it's more like a light in a dark galaxy.
yeah,
Like,
it is.
you know, it's negativity spreads quicker than positivity.
Oh,
and
absolutely. The universe is full of dark matter. I think
yeah,
YouTube is as well, to be honest.
yeah, yeah, 100%. But it's just physics too. It's easier to bring someone else down on your level than to pull
Yeah,
them up on your level. That's just physics. That's gravity. That's just, if I stand on a chair and you're on the floor, it's easier for you to bring me down than it is for me to pull you up.
yeah,
And
absolutely true.
that's just
But
how it is.
call me anti-gravity Ashcroft because I'm not putting up with that. I'm going to try and drag as many people with me as I possibly can.
There you go. You got to get in that gym and start working on your
Yeah,
reps, man. Like, why is his upper body so massive? Well, he's busy bringing everyone up on his
yeah,
positivity train. Like that, but that's what's needed. You know, the good stories. I feel like the positive stories, they're not out there. You have no idea how. I was talking with my wife like the other day, and I'm just like, where do we go? Where do I go from here? Like, I have this channel. I started this journey to document my life, kind of, and kind of put like a living vlog for my
yeah,
son Alexander when he's older, to see his father pursuing his dreams and being happy and being fulfilled, right? And I've been teetering on this reaction precipice, which I don't want to go down into, but I
yeah,
see the need to, now that after you pass that monetization threshold, you're looking at it, you're like, okay, I'm monetized. That doesn't mean shit. It doesn't mean shit. To get
yeah,
monetized and there's no one looking at you, that doesn't mean anything. The potential is there, but
yeah,
how are you going to bring in people? And this week, after I finished my project, I was like, enough's enough. I'm not going to do it for subs. I'm not going to do it for numbers. um, I'm just gonna do me. I'm just gonna
yeah,
do me and have this channel go back to its roots and putting back into community positivity and vlogging successes and failures, because that's a huge thing. Because people need to see the failures too. People need to
yeah,
see the
definitely.
pitfalls. It's very important. It's very important to have those documented as well. Not necessarily made public, but you know, even though I feel like we share a same mind space, Nick, um, we are realistic. Like you said with the ice skating analogy,
Yeah,
we go ice skating knowing that in order to become better at ice skating, we must fall down.
yeah,
That is the most important thing about learning how to ice skate, is falling down and learning how to get up. You know, so
definitely.
we still go ice skating with the full knowledge that yes, we are going to fall, but it'll be glorious, and we'll fall less and less and less
Yeah,
until we're doing it.
and don't be afraid to hold out your hand and let someone pick you up when you need it.
100%. You gotta eat that. Whatever pride that you
Yeah,
have in life is not rooted. You know, I don't get it sometimes.
yeah,
We
definitely.
I'm a firm believer in, we're not meant to walk this path alone. It's it's hard to be alone. It's hard to not have people in your circle that look out for you, and it's hard not to have that. Like, you need someone else to help you,
Yeah,
uh at,
definitely.
at least facilitate, like you said, your inner fire. Like, go for it,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, we start off with family and then you find friends, and hopefully they are people of a similar outlook.
Yeah.
So I think it's a nature thing. I think deep down we're like pack animals.
Yep.
There's very few people that can do anything solo. There's always someone there that you need to lean on and rely on. So yeah, absolutely right. Don't ever be afraid to ask for help if you need it.
Yep. Yep. And I mean, it's funny how, like, the cultures have switched, are starting to sort of soften the perception of manliness. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like like don't get me wrong. There's a time and place to become that alpha, beat your chest, go for it. But that doesn't need to be all the freaking time, you
No, and
know?
it stands out when you see people like that. It just doesn't look normal anymore.
Mm-mm.
It,
Nope,
it really does. There's a few people on Twitter um, who call themselves alpha males, and I think if you call yourself that,
you're not.
you're admitting that you're not in the first place. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. No, it's like a nickname. You never give a
yeah,
nickname to yourself.
Yeah,
you
or
know?
like I'm world famous in our street. Really, yeah,
Yeah, like what?
yeah,
Like, okay, awesome. Awesome. But so what is next? What is your next upcoming like journey that you're gonna be on, or is this like on your podcast side, on your YouTube side? What are you hoping to accomplish? Because um my ideas on how this thing works is you put mini journeys within
yeah,
the main journey, and get the community involved in like your journey to a certain goal, hit the goal, then you new journey. But overall, it's part of this over like big picture journey. Like, are you going to still continue to be uploading your recovery journey, stuff like that?
yeah. That's the plan. Is like I say, I've got to go and have a driving assessment to see if I'm safe to be behind the wheel. So I'm going to try and document that as well as I can. And if I am okay, I'm going to buy myself a new car, an automatic, so I can drive it with one hand. I'm going to start going around some of the places not far from where I live, which I should have visited for the last 20 or 30 years. But instead of doing that, I'm just sat at home on the PlayStation or something. There's
Yeah.
some beautiful, beautiful areas where I live. So I want to go out and just take people with me. We need to go to the lawnmower museum,
Yes.
the GB Lawnmower Museum, which is incredible.
Yes.
I've lived
Yes.
in this town for 32 years. I lived on the same street as the Lawnmower Museum. I have never stepped foot in there once. How ridiculous is that?
No, it's not. Hey, listen, there's apparently a jousting museum in the state of Maryland. Didn't know it existed. Didn't know jousting existed across the pond, over
Now you
here on
do.
my end.
Yeah.
So now I do. It's kind of a thing that we've embraced. But I get that though. I get that. Like you're so busy in your everyday life that you overlook the interesting things that are so
Yeah.
close to you.
You know what? One of the greatest philosophers of all time is Ferris Bueller when he said, "Life comes at you fast. If you don't stop and have a look around, you'll miss it." Or
Yeah.
words to those effect. He's actually right.
Yeah.
There's so much going on your own doorstep, like you say. If you, even the videos that you did just driving around Maryland, um, it's beautiful. Just not necessarily stop, especially not on the interstate, but just have a
Yeah.
look
Don't stop.
around and
Yeah.
see what's around you, and appreciate it for what it is and acknowledge it for what it is. So I hope to do some of that on the channel with the podcast. I'm going to keep on doing that because I love doing the music side of things, and obviously I can't do that on YouTube because of that the amount of copyright strikes.
Yeah, don't put music on YouTube, man. Trust
Yeah,
me. It's it's a frustrating. You talk about losing joy in something, that'll do it.
yeah,
That'll do
that'll
it.
do it quick. And
That'll
then
do
I've
it right
got
quick.
like tomorrow. It's weird how life changes. Tomorrow I'm filming for Dutch TV, which
What?
is bizarre. Yeah, I've got to appear on
Oh,
camera for
you're
Dutch
appearing
TV.
for him. Okay. Because I was like, you're filming for. In
Oh,
my mind, I was like, you're behind the camera. I'm like, damn, they gave you
no,
a spot.
yeah, I wish. No, I'm going to be in front of the camera, which is even worse.
Oh man.
So that's very interesting. I wouldn't have thought of any of this would have happened sort of when I was lying in a hospital bed for 2 months, not being able to walk. Yeah, in 6 months' time, you'd be in front of a camera for Dutch TV. It's like, what are you on about?
Yeah,
Yeah,
make sure, because I didn't want to bring anything, I wanted you to bring that up, right? And we won't go into it, but if you don't want to, but I feel like make sure anything they film you can use without recourse. Like you can
yeah.
use like anything that you're on and you're part of, you should be able to use on your end. Like,
Yeah, I'll make sure I ask him now.
yeah, because trust me, everyone owns copyrights to freaking everything.
Yeah.
You should be able to have a certain pass, right?
Well,
That
acceptable use should be it's my face. Is that not acceptable?
yeah, yeah, pretty sure,
Yeah.
right? But I'm super excited for that, man. I'm looking forward to. Are you going to be mentioning any of what's going on uh in your world, or are you going to wait for it all to kind of pop out or get out and then?
Yeah, I think because it's a film about my dad when he was playing over in the Netherlands. It's just going to be, I think, a few questions about what it was like growing up there. But I think it'd be interesting anyway. It'd be really interesting to see the finished video because this fella's been here for 3 days today,
Really?
and and he's here again tomorrow. So he must have took hours and hours of film, and it's only like a 25, 30-minute documentary he's making. So it'll be interesting to see what goes in and what
Wow.
stays out. But
That's
very,
interesting, man. I
it is a very interesting experience. But yesterday when he turned up, I've got a GoPro, little GoPro Hero 4, just an old thing that I'm practicing with. And I put that on charge, and he turned up and started pulling out thousands of pounds worth of um, cameras and lights and all kinds of equipment. So I very, very quickly got camera envy.
yeah, no, some of that stuff, man, like just on like what was that other one I did with my buddy Howie from Ballyhoo, the guy I interviewed.
Yeah.
Like I was wondering why my upload was taking so long, like ridiculously long. It took maybe 16 hours to
Jesus.
upload that video, and because his shit was in like 4K. Like,
All right.
and I was like, "What camera did you use?" And he like typed it in, and I looked it up. I'm like, "Yeah, you're on a different level. That's a different level. Like, I
Yeah.
am not buying that. I am not. That is all feet in the water. Like, I am not purchasing that heavy ass like type of financially heavy investment. That's not a
Yeah.
hey, I could get a new vehicle. I could pay off a bunch of loans. Oh, let me just get a webcam. Like,
Yeah.
no, I'm not there yet. And I don't know if I ever will be.
That's the kind of thing that you hire for a special occasion, isn't it? That kind of equipment.
Yeah, like that has to be like rented.
Yeah.
Or I mean, or owned by the network, right? The network will buy it because that's a write off, all that stuff. Like they'll
Yeah,
buy it. But
definitely.
man, it's crazy how expensive tech can get. It's but in my kind of using all this stuff, it's usually they're they're worth what you pay for.
Yeah.
Like I hate to say it, I think technology is one of those things you get exactly what you pay for.
Yeah, I also think you find your level and you know exactly what you can get away with and what you need to
Mhm.
spend the extra on. If you're not getting any benefit, you don't end up spending loads more money. So yeah, I get
Yeah.
that completely.
Yeah, it has to be worth the risk.
Yeah.
Has to be. But no, I'm really excited to hear that story, man. I'm always terrified of I feel like one of my biggest fears is being part of something where I can be taken out of context.
Yeah.
And that I know that there are things on Embrace the Suck that if taken out of context, I wouldn't be on the internet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and that's like one of my biggest fears is like, dude, it's just anyone can piece together what you say. So I really hope that it's well done and the people have the best intentions with said program.
Well, so far, to be honest with you, he seems a really nice lad who's doing it. Very down to earth, and seems to like our family as well. So
Good.
I think he seems to be a bit of an ally. So I think we'll be okay with that. But you're right.
That's good.
If anyone takes what you say just out of context, I mean, that remix thing that you've got on YouTube, that
Yeah.
could be a potentially very dangerous thing, just knitting together little bits and pieces. Luckily,
It,
with it being your own stuff, normally you've got complete sort of editorial control over it, what you say, what goes out, and you can check to make sure that the context is there. But that is a very, very dangerous thing. That
yeah. But you know what though? It's just with all these like YouTube download sites, I can clip and piece together any video out there.
yeah,
Like the software, the piracy is out there, man. That anyone has access to your videos and can clip and chop it up and make it seem like you're coming from a whole different place.
yeah, very dangerous. That's
It
I suppose that's the flip side of technology. It grants us this wonderful platform to connect with so many people, but there's always that dark side to it as well.
which it can connect us to so many people.
Yeah,
Like it's like the
unfortunately,
same. It's the same positive as it is negative. It's the same con as a pro. It connects us with everyone. What's the bad part of it? It connects us with everyone.
yeah,
Like you know, yeah. I'm very cautious, and that's why I really am very protective of our community that we built. Is because the the wackadoos, as I call them, are are at arm's length. You know, like they're not in the community washes them out. You
Yeah,
know,
thankfully.
and it's nice. I love our communities that we share, and I know that it's my safe space. It's my comfortable place. I can be me with. It's like hanging around a bunch of friends and
Yeah.
family. That's kind of what it is. And most of the time, no one's even listening to me. They're just talking away on their own. I'm like, this is fine. This is fine. But what has been, you said music, you're deep diving music on your podcast, right?
Yeah.
What, hmm, I'm trying to phrase this question right because it won't make sense if I try to say what's in my head
Yeah.
because the
Okay.
words in my head never make sense. Um, the most influential, give me two of your most influential bands that you would say have shaped you and have helped you through this journey.
Um, One of them is going to have to be very, very obvious. Being from Liverpool, it's the Beatles.
Okay.
That's just I'm absolutely surrounded by them all the time. There's no getting away from them. I absolutely adore them and grew up with them. So that's always something to fall back on. Um, and I'd also say Radiohead. I listened to a hell of a lot while I was in the hospital, especially.
Yeah.
They're a band that I've listened to from the first couple of albums, and then their journey that they've gone on, the progression of becoming what they are now. They just expanded every envelope they possibly can. They could have just stayed like Oasis did. Unfortunately, they reached that point where so many people wanted to see them, so the music just stayed similar. Keep on giving the masses what they want, whereas
Yeah.
Radiohead decided to go against that and say, we're giving you what we want, and if you like it, come along on the journey, and if you don't, then fine, go and listen
Yeah.
to the first few albums. So I like that they're always pushing.
I do like that. It shows life in a band. It shows the
Yeah,
creativeness hasn't died. Even though I'm gonna be straight up honest, I'm not the most massive Radiohead fan. I'm not it, but I don't think I've ever been in a position to absorb what they're saying.
yeah.
I feel like Radiohead is a band you absorb. You like
Oh yeah,
you
definitely.
have to be in it. You have to be ready to listen to it. And for me, I'll put it right up there. It's like Pink Floyd. For
Yeah,
me, it's like you have to be in a certain space, in a certain mental, be ready to accept in a certain mental capacity what they're saying. And
absolutely. And if you're not ready for it, it can hit you by surprise because all of a sudden it's absolutely rooted in you and you can't get away from it. You know, it's
yeah,
though their music, both Pink Floyd and Radiohead, really does hit deep. It's not very superficial music.
no, no.
It's things that hit on several levels.
And that's one of those things that I don't think as of yet I've been in that mental, I haven't carved out that mental time.
Yeah,
And so it's one of those things where instead of casting a quick judgment on that, just haven't had the time to sit and absorb, you know.
yeah,
Um,
that's fair enough. I think with them, that's a bit of band Radiohead that you need to spend a little bit of time with, get
yeah.
used to them, get used to how they operate and the kind of stuff that they do on record because it's a little bit different to anything else that's out there. I think more
Yeah,
challenging as well at times.
and I mean the only reference I have on Radiohead is Creep, and they're not Creep. Just like how Oasis isn't
Yeah,
Wonderwall or
yeah.
Champagne Supernova.
There's a
Like,
lot more to both bands, and again, I was going to say when bands hit songs like that absolutely go astronomically massive, it can be a bit of a weight around the shoulders that they're trying
yep.
to produce all this new music and everyone's going to sing the same old stuff. But
Yeah.
again, I listened to a radio show where Jack Bruce, the bass player from Cream, he was complaining that every time he goes out on tour, they keep singing, "Can you sing Cream songs?" He said, "I'm sick of it. I'm trying to give you new music." But then he went to a Bob Dylan concert and he said he left feeling really disappointed that Bob Dylan didn't sing any of the songs he wanted to hear. So he thought, that's how my fans feel when I don't do some of the old songs. So now, whenever he goes out on tour, he'll always do some of the old songs and a little bit from then, a little bit from then, just to try and keep people
Yeah.
happy.
Well, I mean, you have to like you have to understand what's pulling people in.
Yeah,
You know, it's not that they don't want to hear new music from artists. It's the fact that that artist made a song that affected these fans in some way, shape, or form that is nostalgic, that
yeah,
is of the utmost importance. You know, it'd be like going to a AC/DC concert and not hearing Back in Black
yeah,
or Thunderstruck, or it'd be like what is this? Like, okay, I get it. You guys need to have new music. You guys should release new music. That is the sign of a healthy artist. But don't isolate the fans that grew
yeah.
up with your old stuff.
I can't see anyone being happy leaving a gig if they didn't get played. And I think that band understands that. You've got to give people what if they're paying hundreds and hundreds of dollars or hundreds of pounds to come and
Yep.
see you, there needs to be something back to them as well. Even if it's the new music plus a few extras, just give them
Yeah.
a little bit of something.
You have to throw it back. It honors the fans. Like you're
Yeah,
like, okay, this one is for the fans. This one is like and I know that it's just funny to me how powerful music really is, and how it defines, it sets the soundtrack on so many important moments in our life.
yeah, definitely. I
And
think I was talking to Mandy, funnily enough, in the Instagram chat
mhm,
about things that trigger memories because obviously with my the stroke, some of my memories go and some strange ones come back. But it's always sounds and it's always songs that trigger memories for me. So the first couple of bars of a song can come on and I will know exactly where I was when I first heard it or when I heard that song at its most important to me.
yeah.
It's a strange thing to happen. Just it comes from nowhere. Ping, there it is. It's like you're back in
Yeah.
the room.
It's like the songs, music is like little breadcrumbs for
Yeah,
memories. Like you, once you hear it, you're you're transported right back. And that's it's something, I don't know if it happens with anything else. Maybe smells,
yeah.
maybe smells.
Smells was something else that was mentioned. That's another one where it can be so evocative. I, I think sounds maybe as well, not just music. Like for me, one of the things that really hits hard for me is that I can feel summer as soon as I can smell cut grass
Yeah.
and I hear lawnmowers or the sound of there's an aerodrome about 5 miles away from where I live, and they teach people how to fly in little single engine light aircraft.
Mm-hmm.
So the sound of an aircraft going over, the smell of grass, even if it's not sunny, straight away I'm in a sunny day. It's just bizarre
Yeah.
how much it hits home.
Yeah. It's I mean, people, I don't know, man. It's so massive of a concept. It's like why? Like you're talking about, we only use how many percentage of our brain? Like
Very, very little, but
like 8? Not even?
yeah, yeah, I think it's less than 10%, which is
Less
a
than 10%?
stupidly low percentage for anything, really, isn't it?
And it's like the brain will give you these like little, it'll drop these things like of how powerful it truly is. And
Yeah,
it's like the music, recalling memories of, I don't know when that happened because of that song, or the ability for a song or a smell to alter your mood and really kind of alter your day.
yeah, oh,
it
completely.
it's crazy. And it, like the brain will give you these little nuggets of like, hey, I'm kind of a big deal. Like not you
Yeah,
person, but the brain is just a mysterious supercomputer that just lives in us for free.
yeah. I think it gives you reminders every now and then, like you say, I'm important. Look after me,
Yep.
and yeah. So it's either don't drink too much alcohol or drink more, depending on what you need, or
Yeah, depending on what you
um,
need. Yeah.
yeah. I think you need to read more. You need to watch more interesting TV shows. You need to listen to more music. Whatever it needs, it will tell you. And people need to learn how to listen to your brain
Yep. Yep.
before it's too late. Because when your brain does fire back,
It's done.
and like
Yeah.
a stroke happened to me because I wasn't listening to what my brain and body were telling me.
Mm.
It can be not necessarily too late, as I'm proving now, but it can put you back a few years. So
Yeah.
listen to
But
it. Make sure you nourish it as well by watching TV and YouTube stuff that you enjoy. learn things, read, do what you need to do to keep your brain ticking over.
Yep. You got to water that plant.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
you water all the other aspects of your life. You may have to make sure you get some. You know, it's it's. I want to say. I don't know if ironic is the right word, but I want to use it anyway. And if it's not, we'll workshop it. Well, I'll
Yeah,
put it on the table. I'll put the word ironic on the table. If it's not the right word, we'll take it off the table and we'll workshop it until we find the right word.
we'll get there.
Yeah, it's ironic um, that if you're moving too fast in life, the way life tends to slow you down, it slows itself down. And
Yeah,
usually those lessons are at a very high cost.
definitely.
When life has to step in to slow you down, it's something massive.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's because you haven't slowed down, and you need to practice slowing down a lot, because if life has to teach you that lesson, that's a hard lesson to learn.
Yeah, it's the hardest lesson you'll ever have. Someone can tell you it in a classroom, and that's an easy lesson, but you don't listen. When your body tells it you and your brain tells it you, that's
Yeah,
it. That you are told, and you are told completely.
yeah. You are voluntold. You're like you have
Absolutely.
no other choice. We are slowing down, by the way. Like, and we're taking over. So it's very important. Like, and I love that you have this journey on your channel, and you have your music on the podcast, that you're journeying through. And I wish that more people would take the time to slow down and absorb your journey, because I feel like there's a lot of things that they can pull for their own mental positivity,
Yeah,
and really take a step back. I feel like humans as a whole were just too focused on tomorrows. We're too focused on tomorrows and the future, and a lot of stuff right now is passing us by.
yeah, we do live. Things are too quick. I mean, you've got your phone in your pocket, and
Yep.
within milliseconds, you've got everything that you can possibly think of on Earth on Google or YouTube videos, or you can put a podcast, you can put music, things that you'd have to go to a store and buy years ago. You can just, well, I've remembered a song from when I was 10, think, there it is.
Yep.
It is far too quick, and information's thrown at us constantly. So that thing that you say all the time, unplug and go and have an adventure, it just seems like a bit of a throwaway line, but it's not. It's vitally important. People need to do
Yep.
that. Just stop, put your phone down, put it on charge, and go out. Leave it.
Yep.
Don't keep checking it. What's what what is Twitter? What's important about someone? Is someone retweeted you? Is that
No.
important?
No.
Or is going out and just seeing nature, talking to people? Someone walked past me the other day, walking his dog, and I just said hello, and he said hello, and he smiled. I thought, well, that's more important to me than checking my phone all the time.
Yeah.
A little bit of social interaction with someone I'd never met before, and he smiled. Is that not a good thing? Is that not positive?
Yeah, I think so, man.
Yeah,
It people think, in order to be you gotta, how do I say it? No one's ever on a quest to change the world. Just change your world for the better,
yeah,
and everyone else around you will have their world changed accordingly. Like, you can't
definitely.
control everyone else's life. You should never try to control everyone else's mental state, but you can control yours. And positivity breeds positivity.
Absolutely does as well, yeah. And negativity breeds negativity. So you
Yep.
need to keep an eye on the people who are dragging you down before it gets too late.
Yep. Yep. It's just always, yeah. But positivity is my hammer and chisel, and how I fight against life. And and the little dash of uh realism in there. You're like,
Yeah,
okay, yeah. For every heads, there's a tails. For every, yeah.
yeah. You've got to be realistic about things, but I think to be honest, I think it's working well for you because you've got a good outlook on life. You are positive and upbeat, but not just completely Hollywood ending,
No.
saccharine sweet. There is realism in there. You understand that the world
Yeah.
isn't the best
Yeah.
thing that we have at times. there's things within our life that are challenging that you'd like, if it's possible to do change, but you can't change because governments don't want to change things, or
Yep.
the person down the street who's causing problems won't change things. Well, that's unfortunately what we have to deal with.
Yep.
So deal with it as
Yep.
best as you can.
Yeah. And I want to just reiterate, man, like the people listening, the people watching, make sure you go check out what Nick's doing on his channel and through his life and his journey. It's something so awe-inspiring, and it can save you a world of hurt. It's a great advice, great things, great journey. Like, he is walking the path so that others don't have to or try to avoid walking that path.
Yeah. I'm limping the path at the moment, not exactly walking it, but we're getting there. And I
Yeah.
hope anyone who watches the videos that I make, the whole reason why I started doing it is because I had nothing there when I was in the hospital. Whereas now I've got quite a bit of information about what happens, how to possibly avoid it. And even though I'm sort of getting further and further down that path of recovery, if you go and have a look at the first couple of videos I did about it and then where I am now, it shows what a little bit of hard work can do. And as long as you listen to what people who know what they're talking about are telling you, those physios, the doctors and nurses in the hospital, and put your effort in, you can overcome virtually anything.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's amazing what the human body and the human mind can overcome, you know.
it is absolutely incredible. I was sitting, or lying there in bed rather not sitting there, and part of me was thinking, "Oh, I'm not going to walk again." And before I started feeling sorry for myself, my mind started thinking about seeing video of soldiers who've been in Iraq and Afghanistan who'd had legs blown off by IEDs and they're on artificial limbs and they're walking. I think both my legs and both my arms are okay. They're not working properly at the moment, but I still have them.
Yeah.
So if I can just be half as brave as they are and put the effort in, then I've got a much bigger advantage. Don't
Yeah.
feel sorry for yourself. There's people far worse off, and their
Yeah.
attitude is 10 times better than yours. So
Yeah.
just try and follow what they're doing, or
It's just the mental aspect, man. It's like
yeah,
you have to have some solid mental fortitude, man. And you got to have a
well,
drive.
you do. But do you know something? I think I've always been fairly mentally strong, not completely, but fairly strong. I came out of hospital stronger mentally than I'd ever been before because I found little things, little tips and tricks, and little ways of being able to get through the dark of a night when the dark felt like it was grabbing hold of me.
Hmm.
I found ways to get through that. And I think through adversity comes strength,
Yep.
and certainly mental strength. It got stronger because of the situation I was in, and I didn't allow the negativity to take over. So
Yeah.
it's a mind switch, I think, at that time where I just
It
went, no, that's it. I'm not having this at all. I am getting better no matter what it takes, and I'm not letting anything get me down.
Yeah, no, it's that's man, I'm telling you, but it's a massive switch that a lot of
Yeah,
there are people that don't have that. There are people that had to cultivate that switch from nothing. I'm not saying that everyone can't achieve that, but you can. But it takes dedication. It takes like
yeah,
a remapping. Some people are born with it. Others that don't have that drive have to work on it
yeah.
every day.
There was people in the hospital with me who were the most negative people I'd ever met.
Yeah.
And you're just lying there thinking someone's going to come in and inject me and I'll be able to walk. No, it doesn't work that way.
No.
You're going to have to put the effort in. But I could see bit by bit, at least one of them just it changed. I thought he's getting it, he understands. And I hope the other person who was in there who was really negative, I hope they did the same thing. But I was out by that point. I just thought,
No.
I know it's tough. Like you say, some people have it, some don't. But unless you try it, you'll never know. There
Yep.
has to be there's got to be something in there. Otherwise, you're not going to walk again. You're not going to be able to
Yep.
use your arm. So,
Because if you just laid there and took the
yeah,
whole defeatist approach on what you went through, you wouldn't be walking.
no, absolutely not. You're relying on people when you're in there. I've said before, I was peeing into a cardboard bottle, using a bedpan, having nurses clean me up. when that was happening, I was thinking, these people are incredible, but I don't want this to be the rest of my life. I need to get up. I need to be able to go to the bathroom on my own.
Yep.
I need to be able to dress myself. I need to be able to go and have a shower. I can't rely on people to do the basics all the time.
Yep.
And I don't know if that's the strength or it was just human nature. I can't allow people to look after me constantly.
Yeah.
I'm an individual. I need to be able to do individual things for myself. If you lie in there just thinking, no, I'll never get better,
You'll never get better.
it's the same as being out on the ice. Just
Yep.
lie on the ice. Okay, we'll see you later.
Yep.
You need to
That's
give it a go.
Yep. You have to, man. And
Yeah.
I'm really it's your journey's all inspiring, man. And I can't wait to see what else you have in store for us. And like I said, this is not the last time you're going to be on the podcast. You're going to be on the podcast a lot more. You know, I want you to be a staple of this thing. You can come on whenever you want, man. And your invitation is an open one, my friend. So
That's very, very nice to know. Thank you very much.
yeah, man. Yeah, man. Anytime anything happens or you want to get it out, just hit me up and we'll make it happen.
Well, as soon as I go to the Great Britain Lawnmower Museum, I'll be right back on here to tell you all about them.
I need to know because I saw rednecks jousting on lawnmowers and that piqued my interest. And so I want to know the history behind the lawnmower for sure.
We might not find any rednecks in Southport, but
maybe not. But I just
I'll do my best to find some for you if I can.
You gotta ask them. Are these preferred method of jousting? Like if I were to joust on a lawnmower, what model, what make and model would you recommend?
I'm gonna have to watch that one, aren't I? And have you got anything in the redneck range?
Yeah, something redneckier, something like that. Like I need something like real redneck. not something classy, not something that's functional, something that's over the top redneck, has a beer holder built into it.
Comes with a foam finger with number 1 written on it.
Yeah, why is that a thing anyway? Anyway, it's always in our people that think that we're just there are those. There are those of us that get on the news that are that. And I feel like those are the ones that always get on the news.
They are, because, and it annoys the life out of me, because I know quite a few Americans and every one of them is smart, intelligent, well-read, speaks well, doesn't say yeehaw every couple of seconds, isn't into NASCAR, all the stuff that no one's like Cletus, everyone's just normal people, but live in a different area to me. So I think it's a very, very harsh thing that your sort of, the worldview of Americans is from The Simpsons and stuff like that, and it's not the way people are at all.
It's just, but the loud ones, the loud brash ones, get the attention.
Yeah,
I mean, like that's just how it is. They're interesting to film. They're interesting to hear. They have some of the best videos out there. Those ridiculousness, redneck jousting on lawnmowers. Like, of course, it's them. Like,
to be fair, though, that's the kind of thing that I would do. A couple of beers, let's go and do some jousting on, lawnmowers. Yeah. So it's not just rednecks who do stuff like that.
It's a guy
drunken idiots anywhere. Yeah, it's fellas. That's what it is, really, isn't
it? It really is, and it's like rednecks just live out the immature dreams of normal adults all the time. They just, hey, let's go shoot a shotgun in the woods at a beer can. Like, everyone would love to do that. Like, no one does.
We owe them a debt of gratitude. They are the astronauts when they come to idiocy. So fair play to them. And everyone's got one of those friends as well, haven't they?
Yeah.
Because even over here, someone to whom common sense is the kryptonite of creativity. Why did you do that? Because I was bored. That's normally the answer. Because I was bored.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the house is burnt down now. Well done.
Yeah. Well, now we know what happens when fire meets wood. Like, okay. Yeah. It's never boring. It's never boring.
Yeah.
And
I've got mates like that. When something bad happens, it's always, what happened? Oh, John. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I went out for a couple of beers and I woke up in Prague or something. What? John. Oh, fair enough. That kind of
fair
thing.
Enough. Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, and if you don't know who that person is in your circle of friends, it's you.
100%. 100%, but man, those guys live life to the fullest. Like they are the ones that have the eulogy at the end of life, and they're like, "Wow, yeah, this guy. We're gonna be here for a while talking about
Yeah,
his stories." You know, and that's like the goal, man. That's the goal. Like, don't be boring. Don't be another cog in the wheel. Like, do something. That's why I love the unplugged. Like, unplug and do something epic, legendary, iconic. Like, be
yeah,
something. Do something. Challenge yourself a little bit. You know, like it's so important to live a little.
yeah. The book of your life has got many blank pages. Go and write a few
Yeah,
lessons in there.
yeah, 100%, man. Um, but yeah, man, I'm gonna jump off. We're gonna end the podcast because I have to go pick up my child from school. But Nick, I really appreciate your time, man. I really
No
appreciate your
problem at
time, and
all.
appreciate you sharing your story, your life with us, especially just putting it out there on the internet for all to hear forever and eternity. Because long after we are both dust and molecules, our story and our faces will still be on the internet or
Yeah, and
whatever variation of it is.
hopefully we'll still be helping people at that point. You never know.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
Retrospectively, like, hey, what happened to these guys? Oh, they died in the back in the back, way back. Our grandchildren's grandchildren will be able to find this if the
yeah.
internet exists, if we exist. Um, but yeah, man, much love, much love. All you guys listening, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you check out Nick's podcast, The Reason, the Rhyme, and also on YouTube. I'll be putting links in the video description on Spotify and as well as YouTube. So make sure you click and subscribe and follow, and just keep the good vibe train going. And again, thank you so
Well,
much.
thank you very much. Cheers, Daniel. Thanks, everyone.
All right, guys, and make sure you unplug and do something legendary. Later, guys.